Hello and welcome to Think About It, where we have two primary goals. One is to get you to think about it, and the other is to just make more sense than anybody on CNN. Earlier today, I was thinking back to a golden era in my life. I was 12 years old, had a full head of hair, believe it or not, and the Reagan Revolution was just getting underway. The United States had beaten the Russians for Olympic hockey gold. This was 1980. It was a marvelous time, and one of my fondest memories would be just slamming down large amounts of candy and enjoying the sugar rush that came. You had so much energy, you were happy, you were bouncing everywhere, you didn't want to slow down, and then all of a sudden, bam, it just ran out, and you were a lump. You had nothing left. It came and it left so quickly. Now we move forward to 2008, and I think there may be millions and millions of Americans who they were living on a bit of a sugar rush over the last few months in the presidential election. Leading up to the big day of voting in November, everybody was giddy, running around, bouncing off the walls, couldn't get to the polls fast enough to bring in change. Change we need, change we can believe in, loose change, all sorts of change. And in the weeks since the election, as President-elect Obama has been assembling the Clinton Part 2 administration, we've also come to see some rather interesting things that don't really represent change. Now, on one hand, it's kind of cool because the wacko libs on the left are as irritated as they can possibly be to see some somewhat moderate appointments being made by Obama. However, I would caution moderates, real moderates, and conservatives not to get too excited. This man does not know how to change his spots. Frankly, he doesn't know how to change anything. You will see in due time ample evidence of his liberal leanings. But there's one other thing that the sugar rush really caused a lot of people to overlook his associations. Now, with this recent bit of news coming out of Illinois, where the governor appears to, I don't know, it's a creative way of generating revenue, from what I can tell. We now have an interesting list of people who have spent an awful lot of time with Barack Obama, but he doesn't know anything about any of them. I find it fascinating. 20 years in the pew with Reverend Wright, never really heard him say anything objectionable. That's incredible since he does it every single week he takes to the microphone. I get the home loan with Tony Resco, but I have no idea what else possibly could have gone wrong in his life. That's fascinating, especially given the Chicago political machine. You know, Bill Ayers, he did some things when I was 8, who, by the way, is my neighbor, and we have served on boards together. But again, the sugar rush has everybody moving on past and saying, how dare you concentrate on that? And now we have a governor who has one goal in mind to generate large amounts of revenue from an open Senate seat that doesn't belong to him. One of the strangest American political policies is to allow a state governor to replace a U.S. senator. Maybe that'll change. Maybe the price tag will just go higher. Oh, one more thing. How odd is it to have a man named Jesse Jackson in the center of the spotlight for all of this? I just would caution you all to ask a couple of questions. If you've been operating on a sugar high for lo these many weeks, and you see one example after another of the lengthening list of people that Obama simply knows nothing about, where are all of the good character witnesses, the close Obama friends, rising to his defense? Instead, it's one denial after another. It's throwing one person, whether it's his grandma, whether it's his pastor, or whether it's his governor, it's throwing one person under the bus after another, and sooner or later, somebody's going to have some evidence that leads to the contrary. I'm sorry if that brings you down off your sugar high a little bit early. I know you're waiting for January, but you might want to take just a couple of minutes and think about it.